Imagine a scenario where nearly 750,000 federal employees suddenly find themselves without work, nervous and uncertain about their futures. This is the pressing reality as the U.S. experiences its first government shutdown since 2018, leaving many in the federal workforce deeply concerned about their job security and financial stability. James Kerwin, a labor attorney with experience inside government agencies, conveys a sense of dread that has pervaded the environment for months. Now, under the current Trump administration, there are looming threats of additional job cuts, further exacerbating an already tense situation. But here's where it gets controversial. Shutdowns not only disrupt government services, they have significant implications for the lives of the employees dedicated to those services. Claire Babineau-Fontenot, the CEO of Feeding America, raises an alarm that resonates with many. She warns that countless individuals across the nation are just one missed paycheck away from turning to food banks for assistance. A prolonged shutdown will deepen the strain, and more families will seek help at a time when food banks are already stretched due to sustained high need, she stated, highlighting a troubling broader social issue. Kerwin argues that the repercussions of a shutdown are multifaceted and severely impact federal employees. We want to be working. We want to be serving the public, he emphasizes, shedding light on the deep dedication many federal employees have to their roles. For many who earn less than $100,000 annually, the immediate need to survive during these shutdowns often means depleting savings, accumulating credit card debt, or resorting to loans. The financial toll is immense. The emotional and psychological strains are extensive as well, with Kerwin pointing out that federal employees are motivated by a strong sense of duty to serve the public. To be kept from our ability to serve the American public, it hurts, he shares. This heartfelt sentiment is compounded by a pervasive fear among workers that the shutdown could lead not just to temporary furloughs, but to permanent job losses. The Trump administration has faced considerable backlash for ordering federal agencies to create plans for mass layoffs should a government shutdown occur. Recently, President Trump hinted at using the shutdown as an opportunity to get rid of a lot of things we didn't want. This statement creates a chilling atmosphere for federal employees. Just this week, Trump presided over what has been dubbed the largest mass resignation in U.S. history. With over 100,000 federal workers opting to leave their positions due to the pressure of the administration's deferred resignation program. Workers are left in a state of uncertainty, questioning whether the current shutdown is just a brief interruption or a precursor to their permanent dismissal from federal service. A memo from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, USPTO, confirmed the initiation of a reduction in force program, marking it as the first agency to announce layoffs during this period. Valencia Martin Wallace, the acting commissioner, informed employees that approximately 1% of the USPTO workforce would be impacted. However, the agency did not provide further commentary when requested. Similarly, at the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, a mere 1,700 out of 15,000 employees are expected to continue their duties during the shutdown. As Justin Chen, an environmental engineer and union president, explained, while some individuals may be recalled for emergencies, the bulk of those tasked with preventing such emergencies will find themselves furloughed and potentially facing layoffs in the long term. Even among those who remain at work, anxiety about impending layoffs casts a shadow. Colin Smalley, representing 300 workers at the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, described the current state of federal employees as one where their livelihoods are being used as leverage in a battle between political entities. He argues that significant changes are being forced upon employees at a cost to the very public services that communities depend on. The Trump administration has proposed slashing the federal workforce by around 300,000 jobs by the year's end. Astonishingly, these drastic cuts have yet to be reflected in official monthly employment reports, which will be unavailable because of the shutdown. As of August, federal employment had already dipped by 97,000 jobs. Looking back, the last shutdown, which spanned from December 2018 to January 2019, resulted in an estimated $11 billion loss for the U.S. economy, according to the Congressional Budget Office report. Kirwan emphasizes that since Trump assumed office, the federal government has essentially been operating under a form of partial shutdown, with a substantial portion of the workforce removed and various agencies facing dismantlement. We do not want a shutdown, but we know that the most important thing is standing up against further harms through our programs, he advocates, pointing out the ongoing decline in crucial services that millions rely upon. He expresses hope that any budget passed will include protections to prevent further damage to these essential programs, asserting that the government exists to serve the public. Labor unions have raised their voices in opposition, filing a lawsuit over the threat of mass firings, claiming these actions are both unlawful and a direct attempt to intimidate workers and influence Congress. Everett Kelly, president of the American Federation of Government Employees, stated, announcing plans to fire potentially tens of thousands of federal employees simply because Congress and the administration are at odds on funding the government is not just illegal, it's immoral and unconscionable. Federal employees dedicate their careers to public service, and the contempt being shown to them by this administration is appalling. This situation raises critical questions. How should we balance government efficiency with the well-being of our public servants? Are we willing to accept the emotional toll of such political strategies? We invite your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with this perspective, or do you see it differently?